Right now, we're looking at Spurs. Are they title contenders? That's the question.
Burnley, defensively, are pretty solid.
Spurs were worse than Burnley.
Look at last season.
But Spurs were really awful in the first half.
I know this year you're going to keep saying that.
You should have been substituted.
It matters whether you do it the Leicester way. If you win the title, you win the title, don't you?
Dreamworld from 10 years ago when Manchester United were title contenders and were winning things.
Mate, you've changed your tune. 2 weeks ago, you said, why can't Villa win it?
Here's some things from last night's game. Massive win, you say. For me,
massive win.
It's a 1-0 scrapey win.
Everyone's a massive win.
Burnley, so hang on, Burnley haven't won. They've had 5 games and they haven't won a game yet. 1-0, and they had fewer efforts on goal than Burnley.
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does. They had fewer efforts on target because we're talking about.
Yeah,
it does. We're talking about the way they're playing.
So the away win. They've been excellent this year. You've talked about all the goals they've scored. It would have been, but they're conceding. So they've gone to Burnley. And they've come away with a 1-0 win. Son keeping up with confidence, 8 goals this year. Kane, another assist, playing slightly deeper. Those two together are magnificent. Bale's yet to get warmed up. And they beat Burnley 1-0. Massive result. It doesn't mean they're going to win the title. I'm just saying for confidence and everything goes with it, and for them to remain in the mix, even at this stage of the season, it was an important 3 points for Tottenham. Okay. It doesn't mean they're going to get top 4. It doesn't mean they're going to win the title. But it was important for him to stay in the fight, stay in that group of teams.
I think we all expected them to win at Burnley, who haven't won a game this season, okay? They've got 1 draw, 1 point from their 5 games. Spurs had 62% of the possession and created 3 efforts on target. That's fewer chances on target than Burnley. They created 9 efforts on goal. That's 4 fewer than Burnley, the home side. So, yes, they've got a lot of ball. Are they doing enough with the ball? That will be the question. Could you even argue, bearing in mind how many chances they had and how many chances on target each side had, Spurs were worse than Burnley, but just got a little bit fortunate because they actually managed to create a chance. And there's no way Kane knew where Son was when he's headed that ball. He's gone for goal, and it was miles off target. Son has taken a chance, and fair play to him. He's taken a chance. He's made that little run thinking it may fall there, and what do you know, it did. On another day, it might not have done.
It doesn't matter, you're not getting it. They come away from that game, 3 points. Burnley, defensively, are pretty solid. And they have been all last season. This year, it's not been a great start for him. But we know Sean Dyche, he's organisers, he plays a 4-4-2, he gets the job done defensively. And
they've lost 4 out of the 5.
I know this year you're going to keep saying that.
Well, that's true.
But look where they've been.
You can't say they're brilliant defensively.
Look at their defence. Well, Aid, look at last season. How good they were defensively.
Yeah, we're talking about this season.
Okay, Aid,
it's a scrapey win at Burnley. It's nothing special.
It's a month later. How do we judge
Spurs then on a massive win?
Where to finish at end of the season?
Hold on. Right now, we're looking at Spurs. Are they title contenders? That's the question. We can't wait until the end of the season. We're talking about it now.
They're still in it.
Of course they are.
Burnley aren't.
Man United are 15th and they're still in it. You know, there's loads of teams still in it. So you're saying Man United are out of it, are they?
The title race?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
OK, so if they win their game in hand, they're a point behind Spurs.
They're out of the title race.
Right, OK.
Spurs probably won't win the title.
So Spurs are out of the title race?
I said they probably won't win it. It doesn't mean that result last night, but they're going to win the title. It doesn't mean they're going to finish in the top 4.
We can't judge anything after 6 games, though.
Mate, you've changed your tune. 2 weeks ago, you said, why can't Villa win it? You said Everton was going to win it. Everton have got a great chance to win it. So why ain't Spurs got as much chance as Everton?
I'm not ruling them out like Man United.
Why ain't Spurs got as much chance as Everton?
I don't think Everton will win it. They all can win it, points-wise, mathematically. Yes. They all can win it. It's whether they will. I don't look at that result last night and think a 1-0 win at Burnley should lead to a whole day of questions on talkSPORT about, Spurs are the real deal. They can do it. It's not really about that, though. It's about that duo, isn't it, Kane and Son? Are they going to be this good all season? Are they going to be fit all season? Has Son put his red card days behind him? I mean, do you really think that those two would get into any Premier League side right now?
What, Son and Kane?
Yeah.
Well, Kane would. Kane gets in every team.
Darren Bent, well, Kane does, but what about Son? Because Darren Bent said, Son gets in the Liverpool side ahead of Salah and Firmino. Son and Kane getting ahead of them. I'm not having that. Liverpool are, by the way, above Spurs in the table.
Kane gets in any team. Kane
I don't disagree with.
Any team in the Premier League. Son is very much improved. I think he's a fantastic player. I don't think he's better than Mane. I don't think he's better than Mane's playing on the left. He's not far behind him, but he's not better than him.
Okay.
If Real Madrid had the choice of going picking someone to play in that position, and they say, tell you what, same price, both 80 80 million, whatever, you can have Son or Mane. Up to you. Who would you have? Real Madrid all day long are going for Mane.
Here's the facts about last night. It was a scrapey win. It was a win, and that's fine. But Spurs were really awful in the first half. There were some players who've been lauded, like Højbjerg, who was really awful. I saw somebody say Alderweireld was a rock. I thought he was terrible. and maybe he shouldn't have even been on the pitch because, with that head injury, maybe he should have been substituted. But I don't see what Spurs did last night. I don't look at that game and think to myself, yep, there's a title win inside. So what on earth are these people talking about? What is it all about with Spurs? Why are people bigging them up so much after a 1-0 win at Burnley who can't get a win this season? Jackie says, finally someone talking sense about that scabby Spurs win last night. While this one says, Durham can't take it. What about a scrappy win when you don't play well? You say mark of champions. Well, you do, but not straight after you've given up a 3-goal lead a few days before.
The only reason you'd be happy is if Tottenham went there and had 80% possession and got a point. We'd all be saying now, typical Tottenham, beautiful football, look great, 80% possession, and they come away with a point against Burnley. Right? They've come away with a 1-0 win and 3 points. At the end of the season, that will say away win against Burnley, against a team that are normally and are still very organised and very hard to beat.
And we're without Ben Mee. Let's speak to Spiros, who's a Spurs fan. How you doing, mate? You're on talkSPORT.
How you doing, boys? I just called to say, Adrian, I don't know where you're going with this one, mate. I really don't know where you're going with this one, mate. You are aware that teams do win titles by not necessarily playing great football every week.
How often does that happen? How often does that happen, though?
So you're telling me Man City and Liverpool never won the league by going to places like Burnley and scraping wins?
The last couple of years, Man City and Liverpool, last 3 years, I'd say, they've been exceptional most weeks.
Are you telling me Leicester, when they won the league, they played great in every game? They were dominated most of those games and they were scraping wins.
Right, you're going to do it the Leicester way then?
Well, I'm just giving you examples.
I don't think it matters whether you do it the Leicester way. If you win the title, you win the title, don't you?
Yeah, but there's certain ways of winning it. You've got to not just win it by playing great every week and winning 3-4-0. You've got to win it by scraping wins at these places sometimes.
Oh, what about scraping a draw from the jaws of victory against West Ham? I mean, isn't that more typical of Tottenham Hotspur?
Well, what's that got to do with anything?
Well, that's the last result you had before this one, before a scabby win at Burnley.
We're talking about the Burnley game. Your point was, so what?
No, hang on a second. We're talking about Spurs so far this season. Unable to put back-to-back wins together. They might do that. They play Brighton at home Sunday night. I expect them to win that. That'll be the first time back-to-back wins. And all right, we're only after 6 games. However, I look at how they play in each of those games, and sometimes they look really good, like at Man United away. Against West Ham, they don't look so good. Against Burnley, they don't look so good. And you might want to cling on to, but these are 4 points from a possible 6, even though they didn't play well. But over the course of a season, do you honestly think that Spurs look like title contenders? Because it all revolves around whether Kane stays fit, and he never does.
You're making out as though West Ham come back against Spurs. We've seen West Ham, some of the results they've picked up this season. They've been all right. They've played some good football, haven't they, West Ham? Played some good football. Yes, to a 3-0, you expect them to win the game.
West Ham.
You expect... Well, it is. You're saying
it's
about
a comment
that game.
on having a 3-goal lead.
You've just brought up a game against West Ham. West Ham have proved, but they're a good side this season.
Yeah, but there were 3 up Spurs. When you're 3 up and you're title contenders, you're going to see that through, aren't you? Look at Liverpool when they were 3 up at Paris.
That was a mistake. He made
through.
a mistake, Mourinho, I think, when he looks back on that one at the end of the season. He'll probably say, do you know something? I probably got it wrong there. I probably got it wrong with the substitutions. He can look back at that. A manager doesn't go faultless throughout a season. At the end of the season, if they've finished outside the top 4, he'll look back on certain games, like all managers will do, and say, how can I improve? How can I get better? You think Guardiola's not started this season, before it started, thinking, how can I get better? How can I improve? That's what these guys do. They want to be better every single season.
Let's speak to Richard, a Spurs fan. What do you think, Rich?
Well, I think that Goughy, you're missing a point, Goughy, with Tottenham and Burnley, is that most seasons we will go to something like Burnley and mostly lose a game like that. I mean, last night's game wasn't great. I don't think Burnley were, they sat back for the majority of the game, had their chances, Kane cleared, went off the line. But other than that, there's the sort of result that Tottenham need to get and to prove that we're worth being title contenders. Let's see, another 4 games down the line, they say after 10 games you get a good picture. Let's see what it's like after the 4 more games. I can't think of a result. I know the next fixture is against Brighton. we should get a good result there. But, you know, the way things are going in this league, there's no guaranteed results anywhere. Look, to stuff Man U 6-1 at Old Trafford just sort of proves the point that we are there or thereabouts, just maybe need the rub of the green like we did last night.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of seasons ago when Spurs had that incredible run of banging in goals left, right and centre, especially away from home, and it didn't really mean anything in the end. Fantastic at the time, but you're saying a 6-1 win at United proves the point. Listen, there are so many football fans in this country still living in this dream world from 10 years ago when Manchester United were title contenders and were winning things. This isn't Man United of old. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United that haven't got themselves sorted out yet. Still haven't got themselves sorted out. So it's a great win, don't get me wrong. A 6-1 win at Man United, fantastic. But what exactly does it mean? It doesn't mean what it used to mean when Man United were brilliant, surely. This is talkSPORT.